Hello Glee fans, this is Shamus Kelley, video producer for the Towerlight, here with your opinionated Glee review of, well, Glee wasn't on again this week, as we all well know. It comes back next week, I believe, so hooray! But until then, I have more questions that the delightful viewers of this show have asked, a lot more than last time, so I'm going to try and go through these as fast as I can, but I'll make sure I give the appropriate time to each and every one. The first YouTube user, Gem of Gems, asks, first question, is there a couple that you are completely against, past or present? I don't think I'm really against any of the couples in Glee because it's high school. People make weird and kind of dumb decisions in relationships. Actually, people do that in life anyway. So I've never really had a couple that I've been sort of like, no. I mean, I've disapproved of the writing, but any couple can work with good writing. Just Glee doesn't have it all the time. Next is, which storylines are you most looking forward to, assuming you've read the spoilers? I try to stay away from spoilers unless it's something big like Kurt and Blaine having sex. So that's kind of a big deal, and you kind of can't avoid it if you're on the internet, especially if you're a Glee fan and you like Kurt and Blaine. But I am looking forward to Kurt and Blaine's more tension-filled relationship, like it's supposed to be on the rocks a little bit. I like that because it's realistic. Everything else, well, we're going to get to a thing that I'm not really that happy about in a minute. If you could choose one song to be covered on Glee, what would it be? There's a lot of songs I would like to be covered on Glee. Could they be covered? Maybe, maybe not. There's a particular song that I like from the musical, well, musical/movie, now a musical too, from Newsies actually, which I know people are sort of like, about. But the song Seize the Day I really like, and I think that would be really a good fit for Glee. If not, I'll look up the song, and I could see a nice Glee video going to that, or a Glee song, so hooray. Just hope that it's one of those don't mess it up things. I think if they mess that up, I'd actually get mad about the music for once on Glee, so. Next, which character are you most hesitant about leaving the show, assuming the seniors actually leave at the end of the season? Well, we don't know that they're leaving because they make them so much money. It's like, how could they get rid of, say, like Rachel? I mean, I know I'm not the biggest fan of that character, but I mean, she makes the money and people like her. So whether all these characters actually leave or not is questionable, but I'm actually hesitant about like Finn, Rachel, and Kurt leaving. I mean, it would be nice to, have them, leave the show and like grow and change as characters, away from the show. Maybe that spinoff that never happened, or is never going to happen because Ryan Murphy hates people. But I'm hesitant because I feel like ratings will go down because those characters have left, because they were such an integral part of the show, and they need to introduce more characters to sort of create like I can't believe I just said add more characters to Glee, but they can't just introduce new characters and hope people will like them. We have to sort of bridge the gap a little bit, otherwise a lot of people won't take hold of these new characters. They need to be spoon-fed to a lot of the audience. Next, what is your least favorite episode ever? Oh God. With Glee, I can't remember all the episodes. I haven't rewatched a lot of them. It's not that I've ever just said, this is the worst episode. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. The worst episode was the Britney Spears episode. I just remembered. That was an awful episode. The use of the songs was just horrific. I mean, Artie's Britney song was kind of cute, but the episode just felt so tacked and forced, and just, it hurt everywhere in my soul. I remember watching it with someone in this office, and we were just like, wow, that was awful, which is really weird because then I found that it's very a polar opposite thing. Like some people are like, I really love that episode, or I really hate that episode. So once again, it's all up to personal opinion, but this is the Opinionated Glee review, and I didn't like it. And also, I've just heard that Sam is returning in episode 8 for sectionals. What? Yeah, apparently Sam is coming back. That has been reported as a recurring character or something. Apparently, Chord Overstreet, however you say his name, is coming back, even though he said he's like, aha, I got away from that sinking ship. Do we really need him back? We already basically wrote his character out. We already have too many characters on this show. In spite of what I said about introducing, if you're going to have more characters, at the very, very least, even though I don't like this idea, introduce new ones so that we can get used to them, so that when these people apparently graduate, we already know them enough. Bringing Sam back is just, you've basically written him out. Why do we need to bring him back? Whatever. The next YouTube user, Just Because, asks, don't you at least like how Rachel is forgiving and reaches out to others? Because I do a lot of Rachel criticism on this show. Yes, I do like she's not always like 100% bitch, as some people say. and it's nice that we get to see a good side of her, but it just doesn't do enough for me that I don't like the character enough. I acknowledge that she does do that, and I do like that. It's just overshadowed by the rest of her personality. And do you think if Rachel was a boy, she would not be disliked as much? That's a very interesting question. My initial reaction was just sort of dismiss it like, what, wait, what? But thinking about it more, it's that whole, you know, if certain characters are written as a different gender, will the audience take them differently? So if we got basically like a sort of bitchy, showy, I'm going to be the greatest ever theater guy, would that be different? I feel like it'd be a little different. I feel like not as many people would like that character, actually. A lot of people like that she's a girl and that she's very like, I'm going to succeed no matter what. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. And if it was a guy, some people might perceive, you know, him more as, oh, he's just annoying and whatever. And people joke that Kurt is kind of like the male version of Rachel a little bit, but obviously different. It would kind of be like Kurt if he was less likable. And I would not be a fan of that. So maybe the character wouldn't be disliked as much. I actually think people like her more because she's a woman, but that's just me. The next question is May Timmeyer. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Don't you think it's strange that Blaine is a junior? I covered that in my first episode review for this season. Yeah, it's really weird that he's a junior, especially since he was supposed to be like a mentor character for Kurt. It seems a little silly, but you know, Darren Criss makes the money, and I like his character, so I'm okay with that. So he's still a junior this season, yes. Well, it's Glee, so that's normal. What do you think? Well, I talked about that already. Another person asks, actually, I think this is the same person. Who is your favorite character, Blaine or Kurt? It's kind of hard to say because I like that Kurt started off as I remember when Glee premiered and I saw the trailer and I saw like the bit for Kurt's character and I'm like, oh, it's a very stereotypical gay person. We've never seen this on television before. Not that those kind of characters are bad. It's just there's been so much I like to see something different. But I'm glad, and people, you know, said in the second season, oh, Kurt's a Mary Sue, Kurt's a Mary Sue. Remember the first season where he was being real creepy to Finn? Remember that? So I like that we got to see him, you know, at some low points, and we got to see him grow as a character, so that he might be a little stereotypical, yes, but he's actually a character, and I like that. It's the problem with stereotypical gay characters is that they don't often get character development. If they get character development like Kurt's, I'm totally fine with that. I do like Blaine because of how unstereotypical he is, even though they gave him a little bit into all the fashion stuff, whatever, just for that one scene, I think, in the second season. But it's really hard to... I kind of think I like Blaine a little more, maybe because we know less about him, and it makes it more like, you know, that's how relationships work. But I just like Darren Criss a lot. Yes, he is very attractive, and he has a very, 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 very nice voice. And he has that whole... And the actor himself has that whole past following with the Star Kid stuff and whatever. But... So I would say I probably like Blaine more, but oh god, it actually kind of depends on the episode, to be honest. Sometimes it depends on the writing. I guess we know more about Kurt, so maybe it's more a little bit of a tie. There are a couple. I like both. Yay. Next, JetChen279 asks, what was your favorite musical number on Glee? That's a good question. Honestly, once again, I don't often watch Glee for the music. I watch it for the plot, which is apparently blasphemy for some people who knew. But what was my favorite musical number? Oh, God, you know, it's really hard to say, but I would have to say from the first season, from the Joss Whedon-directed episode, Safety Dance. Now, it's not necessarily my favorite song they've ever done, but just in terms of... Their performance of it, it was fantastic, fantastically directed, fantastically used. It was a great song for the character of Artie because he is in a wheelchair and he was dealing with not wanting to be in a wheelchair. So it looked nice. We got to see, you know, the actor, you know, get up and show some dance moves that he doesn't normally get to do. So that was nice, and it just, oh, so beautiful. I could watch that sequence so many times. I really liked that episode particularly, and also because it had Neil Patrick Harris. Also, all right, I already talked about Sam's Return. Yeah, what do I think about it? Don't like it. The next question is, someone asked, because I joked at the end of the last review about writing terrible fanfic and reading it on air. I didn't get a chance to do that. I kind of forgot that I had said that actually. But if you really want me to write really terrible fanfic about Glee, let me know in the comments. Let me know a pairing you'd like me to write, and if you really want me to try to make it good or make it awful. I could probably do awful a little better than good in this case. Do you have like any requests for plot lines or characters? Please don't get specific, and please don't ask anything too graphic. This show is not. I don't want to read horrific sex fic on the air. The last question comes from Ulriki. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Talking about the show as a whole, what do you actually like about the show? What keeps you watching? That's a very good question because, as they said earlier in the YouTube comments, I seem to, lob a lot of hate at the show. What do I like about it? Well, I do like, the Kurt and Blaine stuff. I like, some positive portrayal of gay people and very, broad and a relationship, not only that. But Glee itself, I like to think that it's delightfully inconsistent. And no matter how many problems I have with the show, at the end of the day, I enjoy it either for I actually like the episodes or I can have people to talk about how much I didn't like it. But in the end, it's a fun show, and I don't take it more seriously than it needs to be taken. I think some people take Glee a little too seriously. Like, oh, these musical numbers could never happen in real life. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the Glee universe. Things like that happen. But it's one of those I just really enjoyed the show. It's very hard to describe why I like it. The relationships are fun to watch sometimes. The songs are catchy occasionally. It's just, in the end, it's a kind of show that we don't normally get on air that's just a lot of fun to watch, but it can be very deep. It's funny and can be deep, and I like that mix of drama and comedy. So that's all for this week. If you have more questions to ask, like if an episode, because I know the episodes air on Tuesday nights, if you have a question about the episode that you want me to talk about on air, comment on the previous week's video, and I will do my best to get it into the review. I usually record these about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning the next day. So try and get your questions in then. If not, I've had a lot of fun answering these questions, and hopefully whenever the next drought of Glee episodes happen, I'll be able to do this delightful answering questions thing again. And please comment what you thought of this, and if you have more questions anyway, I'll do my best to answer them. And that's all for this week. So until then, see you later.